Okay, so there's this video of Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, and if you follow tech news, you know what happened in the past few weeks where he got fired, all the drama that was happening with his company. So this is an interview that's by time, and this is sort of his first speech after that whole saga. I'm just going to watch it and react to some of the most interesting things that he says.
Sam, thank you again for being here backstage. Sam said this was the most fun thing he'd be doing all week, so I hope you don't.
I said this is the only fun moment
The
of my
only
whole New York
fun
trip.
thing.
This is great.
I have a lot of questions for you.
All right.
Appreciate your time. The first one, I think in the minds of many people in the room tonight, what the hell happened?
It's a good opener.
Thank you.
A lot of things. It's honestly, it's been a crazy whole year. Like in the context of everything that has happened to us this last 3 weeks or longer, whatever it's been, it stands out, but not as much as you would think it should. We kind of like went from this unknown research lab to this like reasonably well-known tech company in a year. And I think that takes most companies like 10 years. And that's been a wild experience to live through. Of course, these last 2 weeks have been particularly crazy and sort of like painful and exhausting, and happy to like be back to work.
So I'm just going to pause here and react to what he said about OpenAI growing within 1 year. Like the growth that would have taken them 10 years in the past took them 1 year. I think this is reflective of the exponential growth of artificial intelligence, that things move so fast in this world that 1 year actually feels like 10 years. And I think that's what technology does. Right? It speeds up things. So if it's the internet, it sped up our rate of communication, and artificial intelligence has sped up our rate of creation. So I can definitely imagine the challenges of being the CEO in a company like that.
And the proudest moment for me in all of this craziness was realizing that the executive team could totally run the company without me. I can go retire, OpenAI will be fine. And I'm super proud of the people to do that and to watch them work at a time where I couldn't really talk to them. But they did an amazing job, really made me very proud. And it also made me very optimistic, because I think as we do get closer to artificial general intelligence, as the stakes increase here, the ability for the OpenAI team to operate in uncertainty and stressful times is like really, that should be of interest to the world.
You're describing how high the stakes are here.
So yeah, that's a very important statement in the sense that the people that are at the forefront of this technology have such a high responsibility and have to manage very, very complex situations and have the experience of having gone through stressful situations and making the right decisions, because they are the custodians of something that is very, very powerful. And it's kind of similar to the previous major breakthrough we made, which is atomic energy, right? The people that were at the forefront of that had a really big responsibility, and how they handled that really mattered a lot. It had a huge impact on the world, right? If you look at the decision to drop the bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, those were the people at the forefront, and the impact of that decision is still felt today. So the guys at OpenAI, they definitely have a big responsibility, and the things that they do will impact history for a very, very long time. So yeah.
What do you say to someone who says, this company brought itself to the brink of self-destruction? How can we trust its leader, and how can we trust its company with this transformative technology?
We have to make changes. We always said that we didn't want AGI to be controlled by a small set of people. We wanted it to be divided, and we clearly got that wrong. So I think if we don't improve our governance structure, if we don't improve the way we interact with the world, people shouldn't, but we're very motivated to improve that.
On those changes, your former co-founder, Elon Musk,
Okay, so I'm going to pause and respond to what he just about the initial hypothesis for artificial intelligence. It said that initially they thought this should be something that's open source in the public, isn't controlled by big tech. And his conclusion is that that initial thinking was wrong. So we can safely assume that OpenAI's vision has flipped to the other side. Artificial intelligence is something that's closed source and controlled by a few people. That's literally the opposite of the initial hypothesis, right? So it's actually very interesting to hear him say that. Let me know what you think of that analysis.
Person of the Year, has described OpenAI as a closed-sourced, maximum profit company, effectively controlled by Microsoft. Is Elon wrong
On all of those topics.
and any others?
And I actually, in spite of his like constant attacks on OpenAI, I'm very grateful that Elon exists in the world. Because I think he's done some amazing things. I think the transition to electric vehicles is super important. I think getting to space is super important. And I'm grateful for those things. We're definitely not maximum profit seeking, although you could talk to Elon about some of his ventures for that one. And we open source a lot of stuff. We'll open source more in the future. And we're certainly not controlled by Microsoft.
So I'm just going to react to that statement that we are not controlled by Microsoft. I just wonder like how Satya Nadella perceives this relationship with OpenAI being controlled by Microsoft is perceived as a bad thing, and something that he has to defend.
The thing that I'm more concerned about is what happens if an AI reads everything you've ever written online, every article, every tweet, everything. And then right at the exact moment, sends you one message customized for you that really changes the way you think about the world. That's like a new kind of...
Okay, so I'm going to react to this point. And it's quite interesting that he's talking of AI that consumes all your information and forms a very deep understanding of you, and then tailors a response to your mental model. Wow, that is very, very insane. So that's hyper-personalization in terms of how this artificial intelligence is interacting with you. Then you even start to wonder around the people that would have deployed this artificial intelligence and the intentions that they have for you and the objectives of the AI and how they've programmed that particular AI.
I find in most conversations with you, people are processing their fears. So if you'll allow me, is AI good or bad for media?
One thing I always say is no one knows what happens next. I think the way technology goes, predictions are often wrong. The future is like subtle and nuanced and dependent on many branching probabilities. So the honest answer is I don't know. But I think it's going to be more good than bad. It will be bad in all sorts of ways. But I think it nets out to something good. As people have more free time, more attention, and also care more about the people they trust to help them make sense of the world, to help them decide what to trust and how to think about a complicated issue. I think they're going to rely and care more about their relationship with someone in the media more and more, and care more about high quality information in a world of like massive amounts of generated content.
That's a very interesting point. And I think I resonate with it in the sense that information consumption is no longer necessarily tied to giant brands, but tied to individuals. And I think a place where this happens the most is on YouTube and even on Twitter, where you start to develop a relationship with the person that's generating the content, and you develop a degree of trust and reliance on that person to help you make sense of all.
I think 2023 was the year we started to see that. 2024, we'll see way more of it. And by the time like the end of this decade rolls around, I think the world is going to be in a unbelievably better place. It sounds sort of like silly and sci-fi optimism to say this, but if you think about how different the world can be, not only when every person has today they have like ChatGPT, it's like not very good, but next they have like the world's best chief of staff. And then after that, every person has like a company of 20 or 50 experts that can work super well together. And then after that, everybody has a company of 10,000 experts in every field that can work super well together. And if someone wants to go focus on curing disease, they can do that. And if someone wants to focus on making great art, they can.
Okay, so let's actually talk about that idea of having these assistants that serve your mission, right? Having AI or multiple AI systems that help you achieve your particular goals in life, your particular objective as a person on this earth. I think I resonate with that, and that does empower a lot more people to accomplish perhaps what I'll define as a life mission, that each individual on this planet has a mission that they come to fulfill. And with the help of artificial intelligence, we would actually see more people starting to fulfill their life missions. But that is highly dependent on how well we mitigate the negative side of this. AI will empower individuals to do both good and bad. So we just need to make sure that the good that comes from AI is much more than the bad that it generates.
It can do that. But if you think about the cost of intelligence and the quality of intelligence, the cost falling, the quality increasing by a lot, and what people can do with that, it's like a very different world. The world that sci-fi has promised us for a long time, and for the first time, we get to start to like see what that's going to look like.
Two quick questions to wrap up this.
So that's actually also, as he was talking there, I actually added a mental model to my mind, because I believe everyone has a certain mental model of artificial intelligence that they have. And mine was focused on the cost of intelligence, that AI will reduce the cost of intelligence. But he also mentioned that AI will increase the quality of intelligence, right? As we keep getting these models coming out, ChatGPT 5, 6, 7, 8, the quality of intelligence of these models is going to go up. And yeah, that's actually going to be very, very positive for humanity. Granted, we minimize the negative side of it.
Conversation. And again, thank you for being here. Disqualify yourself from consideration. And remember, there are a lot of CEOs in the room tonight. Who should be the 2023 CEO of the year, if not you?
There are a lot of good choices for that. I mean, I'm hugely biased on this. I do think AI was sort of the most exciting and impactful thing to happen this year, so I'd give it to one of the other AI companies, but I'm really biased.
Smooth answer.
Thank you very much.